On game 4 in what has been a wild and unpredictable series. All even at 2 games apiece as the scene shifts to the arena here in Oklahoma City. Series is all even 2 games apiece in this Western Conference semifinal between the Grizzlies and the Thunder. And welcome everyone to Oklahoma City. Dick Stockton along with his czar, Mike Fratello. Marty Snyder is with us as well. And if you look at this even series, each team has won 1 game on the other team's home court. And you look at all the numbers, they're practically even all the way down the line. It's been that kind of a series. But as we enter game 5, what do you see, Czar?
Both teams have their set of stars, and they played extremely well. For Memphis, it's the post-up people. We're talking about Gasol and Randolph. On the other hand, for Oklahoma City, it's been Durant and Westbrook. But the people that may determine the outcome of this thing, the X factor, guys coming in off the bench that have been so important to both teams. For Memphis, it's been O.J. Mayo. Mayo up 3 points a game, up 6 minutes a game. Defensively, he has been a stopper for them in this series. At the other end, we're talking James Harden. His points are up, his minutes are up, but he gives them another guy who can create off the dribble. And ironically, Dick, both of these players coming off the bench combined have not missed the free throw. They're 32 for 32.
No surprise, clutch free throw shooters as we look at the Grizzlies starting lineup. And Randolph and Gasol accounted for 60 points in the last game. Meanwhile, no surprise for the Thunder, the 1-2 punch. Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, 75 points between them, with Westbrook leading the way with 40. Set to go. The officials are Monty McCutcheon, Bennett Salvatore, and Jason Phillips. And the tip controlled by the Thunder. And we look for a change in the matchup.
Well, we see immediately the penetration by Westbrook, which leads to the open jump shot. And the key here is that Connolly is coming out playing Cephalosha tonight rather than play the point guard Westbrook. The reason behind it, they cannot afford Memphis to get fouls on Connolly. They need him on the floor. He hits a jumper right there. He only played 37 minutes in the last game because of foul problems, and we're talking about a 3 overtime game. Not enough time for him on the floor.
So Westbrook is guarded by Tony Allen. And that's the big change, and they're putting Allen, outstanding defender, on Westbrook. Westbrook throws it away, and it was off the hands of Perkins. And there's the turnover. Westbrook did not turn the ball over that much in game number 4 and had a bunch of them in the early part of the series.
Yeah, and the other thing now, instead of Allen wearing down Durant, you've got Young that's moved over and is playing Durant.
So the turnover charge to Perkins, who touched the ball last before it went out of bounds. But it was a low throw. And here is Zach Randolph as the Grizzlies missed their first shot of the game. Kevin Durant. And the rebound by Randolph. Grizzlies have not trailed in this series. They won game 1 and then game 3. Winning game 1 on this floor. And making the layup, Sam Young, who was scoreless in game number 4, had 12 points in game 2.
And he attacked Durant immediately, put the ball on the floor, hoping to pick up a quick foul on Kevin Durant.
And everyone here at the arena on their feet, and they stand until the Thunder get their first basket of the game. And we have the first foul against the Grizzlies, and it will be against Marc Gasol. Perkins setting a screen at the top, and there's Westbrook charging offensive foul against Russell Westbrook.
And you can expect to see a lot more of that. He attacks the rim so hard. He's so fast, so explosive. You're going to see Blue Jersey stepping up to try and put offensive fouls on him.
So Westbrook, who is really matured and has to make a lot of decisions as a point guard, and just learning that in his second playoff experience. Last year, Thunder losing to the Lakers in 6. Here is Zach Randolph. Short shot goes through, and Randolph with the basket, and the Grizzlies off to a 6-0 start.
We've seen Randolph use his right hand for his first 2 field goal attempts, and Ibaka is a great shot blocker, no question. But Collison, in my opinion, plays Randolph a little bit better. He's more physical, a little bit thicker and wider. Cephalosha inside, and a
3-second violation call.
Randolph, who's a strong left-handed player, comes back with the right hand. He starts to see the double team coming at him along the baseline, but he's got such great touch around the rim.
And this crowd is still standing, and they'll have to stand a little more. Already 3 turnovers by the Thunder, and the Grizzlies off to the big start as they were at home in game number 4. And there is Randolph trying to tip in his own miss. So nearly 3 minutes gone by, and the Thunder haven't scored. And the ball knocked away, and it was Gasol who got a piece of that layup. Tony Allen, and kicked away by Randolph, and the Grizzlies turn it over.
One thing you'll see, the Grizzly big men, whether it's Randolph or Gasol, they will run hard down the middle of the floor to pick up some easy baskets, and you see the early energy here by both teams producing turnovers.
And the ball knocked out of bounds, and so it will be inbounded by Durant, who has led the team the first 2 games of the series in scoring, but Westbrook has been the high point man in the last 2. There you see the Thunder missing their first 3 shots, and that one falls off the rim. Ibaka from the perimeter. 6-0 in favor of the Grizzlies, trying to win another road game here. 1-1 in the regular season, and 1 here in the playoffs. Gasol, and the foul called against Perkins as he bumped Marc Gasol and picks up the first foul against Oklahoma City.
And Gasol had a decision to make: shoot the open jumper or try and put the foul on Perkins. And that time he elected to drive it right at the oncoming defender, so he puts a foul on the big man.
Perkins fouled out in game 4. And Conley missing a 2, the rebound by Cephalosha. Still looking for the first point. With nearly 4 minutes gone by, are the Thunder. Perkins passes up the outside shot, working his way in. Misses the bank shot, but Cephalosha says enough already.
Cephalosha only played 15 minutes in that triple overtime game. He was 1 for 3 from the floor, but he's got to do the small things. He's got to defend, get on the offensive boards, run in transition to try and get baskets that way.
Fans are grateful that Cephalosha came in. Now they can sit down and enjoy this game. Oh, nearly 4 minutes elapsed before the first points by the Thunder. Sam Young lost control, and they're going to call the foul against the Thunder, and Ibaka picks up the first one.
Dick, this is amazing. Ibaka's assignment, block out. Watch, he never turns and looks at the ball. Ibaka just face guards his man, trying to block Randolph off the board, because offensive rebounds have really hurt Oklahoma City.
Conley at the point. Conley hitting the big 3 with 3.5 seconds left in regulation to send the game into the first overtime. Missing outside Sam Young. Loose ball. Here's Westbrook. Tony Allen sticking with him. Here's Durant open, and Durant hits the basket. And it's a 2-point game. First point for Kevin Durant.
One way to get the defender off you is get a defensive stop, get the ball down the floor, go to your spot-up areas, and then the point guard or whoever's leading the break needs to get the ball to the scorer immediately.
Durant with 31 points a game, the top playoff scorer in the league. Here's Marc Gasol and Tony Allen. And they're going to call the foul away from the ball, and let's see if Ibaka shoved underneath, and he did. That'll 2 quick fouls on Serge Ibaka, who got into foul trouble early. Only played 16 minutes, scored 7 points, only 1 block shot. But there's this man Collison coming in, Nick Collison, who, as you pointed out, has done the best defensive job on Zach Randolph.
Yeah, Collison played 35 minutes in that last game. He had 5 rebounds, only 4 points, but he did a great defensive job in forcing Randolph into some tough shots.
Collison on Randolph. Conley, way off for 3.
Remember, before the last game, that Conley was shooting 54% from the floor. Then he had a tough night in the last game, going just 2 of 12.
And they're going to call Durant. Or Collison with the foul. Collison. And this crowd incensed. There is the push by Collison.
I don't see that one, to be honest. I don't know where the official felt he hit him.
And the boos rain down from the crowd here as Collison called for the foul, and Tony Allen hitting the jumper, and it's 8-4. This crowd is ornery right now here in Oklahoma City. And they're going to go the other way again. Nothing going right for the Thunder, and 5 turnovers.
This is where the offensive foul is called, and I mean, to me, that's just a no call right there. His arms never came out away from his body, and the ball went away from the screen anyway, so I don't know where that one comes from.
And traveling, ball against Mike Conley. Timeout. Memphis with the early lead.
Kevin Durant has had players draped on him this entire series defensively, but if you get out in the open floor, he has no one playing him, he's going to make that shot most times.
Game 4 a couple of hours ago, but actually it was 44 hours ago that these two finished that 4-hour game. After that, Oklahoma City flew right back here, and Kevin Durant told me it was a crazy scene. 75 fans met these guys at the airport, believe it or not, chanting, "Go Thunder, go." Shane Battier told me that fatigue will be a factor tonight. He said, if guys are telling you that they're not tired, they're simply lying to you. And an interesting fact that Zach Randolph told me, in every game this series, the team has jumped out to a big lead, and there's been a big fourth quarter comeback. He said, I don't think either one of us have that in us tonight. Dick?
You know, you're right, and this has been a kind of a ragged start as we see another turnover. And here's a 2-on-1. Conley, and Collison knocks it away, saves a basket with that play. So far in this game, to back up what Marty has said and what Battier said, there have been 6 baskets and 8 turnovers in the opening minutes.
How about this? Marty mentioned 4-hour game. There were 90 free throw attempts combined, 206 field goal attempts combined, 47 three-pointers taken, and 40 offensive rebounds in that last game.
Boy, the numbers really skewed when you talk about what they score and how many rebounds they get because of the 15 extra minutes. Reverse lay-in by Allen. So Allen, who scored only 6 points in the last game, and Young, who was scoreless, both contributing early on, and a 6-point Grizzly lead. There's the story. And Young committing the foul, and it's time now for Cold Hard Facts presented by Coors Light.
You see the time, 3 hours and 52 minutes. How about 258 points on the board? We mentioned the number of free throw attempts, 70 fouls, and only 62 substitutions. The coaches didn't have too much thinking to do, did they, during the game?
You need an adding machine to figure out that. Here is Westbrook, in and out. So Westbrook so far has yet to score, defended by Tony Allen in the big shift made by Lionel Hollins. Not putting Conley on him, who got into early foul trouble, and Allen missing from the perimeter, and the rebound by Durant. Durant had 13 rebounds in that triple overtime, and now taps it on the other end. At both ends, Kevin Durant making the statement.
We saw that in the last game a little bit. They couldn't figure out how to score, and Durant started bringing the ball down the court himself and created some shots for himself in transition.
Zach Randolph over Collison, and off of Collison, out of bounds, with Oklahoma City here.
You see Durant take it all the way, go coast to coast with that one, and finish it off emphatically.
And Randolph arguing over that offensive foul called against him.
Randolph a little frustrated with Collison's defense. Last game, Zach Randolph had a great game, 34 points, 16 rebounds, but shot only 9 of 25 from the floor. He did make 16 out of 17 free throw attempts, and again, Collison has affected his first couple of shots since Collison's come in the game.
And 8 offensive rebounds for Randolph as well, and Perkins misses the lay-in, and the loose ball into the hands now of Allen. Allen looks one way, feeds Conley for the basket. A great no-look pass by Tony Allen, and the Grizzlies are up by 6.
That's one of those 4-point swings, the layup that you should have had, and the other team wouldn't have been running back at you, and instead it's a fast break for the Grizzlies.
And here is Westbrook. And that drops Westbrook. Now 1 for 3, his first points of the game. Durant has 4 early on. Allen and Conley each have 4 for the Grizzlies. And here's Conley. Misses the open jumper. Durant. Spinning his way is Durant. Tries the reverse lay-in. Memphis coming back. And the basket by Sam Young. And beating the Thunder down the floor in the early going.
Well, I really like Mike Conley. I love the pace. I love the tempo. He understands when to go fast. He understands when to slow it down. Excellent in pick and roll.
And coming in and getting the basket, James Harden, the X factor that you talked about. They don't waste much time bringing in Collison and Harden in the lineup.
No, look, Harden was a very high pick in the draft, and he has gotten better and better at putting the ball on the floor and shooting three-point shots. But you see Conley running the break. Once the shot is missed and they get it out to him, he pushes. He ups the speed, tempo. He knows he has wings running. Just puts it up in the air and lets Young find it and finish.
You know, the whole organization is behind me in the city, and you know, I kind of, you know, play for more than, you know, myself and, you know, what I bring. You know, I play for a lot of other things, and you know, that's what kind of drives me, and not worry about any of that stuff.
And one of the criticisms, Mike, is the fact that Durant is not getting enough shots. In the last game, Westbrook had 13 more than Kevin Durant.
Sometimes there's a reason for it. Yes, has he taken some poor shots? No, without question. However, they have put a defender on Durant and said don't pay any attention to anything else other than don't let Durant touch the ball. Well, Westbrook is forced to create offense for his team, so he has to go and attack.
Conley with a turnaround, and the rebound just coming into the game. Nazi Muhammad coming off a terrific effort with 7 points, 4 rebounds in game number 4. Eric Maynor with the ball is also into the game, along with Durant, Collison, and Harden for the Thunder. And Durant trying to get a foul out of it does, and he will go to the line. For more, here's Mark.
And Dick, everybody wants to make something between this relationship with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. And I talked to Kevin about it. He said, you know, I insist. Everything is fine with us. He said, I, in fact, encourage him. It doesn't bother me when he takes 30 shots a game because that makes us a better team. I know how explosive he can be. When I asked Russell about it, he said, yeah, I've got some areas to improve in, but I play by instincts. I don't worry about what people say. If I play by my instincts, that's when I'm my best, Dick.
The two get along great, and they are the cornerstones of really an outstanding young team. Durant, by the way, who was 16 of 18 from the line, shooting 80% this after going to the line only one time in the earlier game.
And that was a technical foul that he shot in the game before that. And this is a much more aggressive Kevin Durant tonight offensively. He's trying to make things happen off the dribble.
Off the bench, Reyes Vasquez is into the game, and the ball knocked away in a turnover. Darrell Arthur and Shane Battier also have checked in for the Grizzlies.
Two guys who have been very consistent performers coming off the bench, and Battier did an excellent job defensively on Kevin Durant last game.
So Vasquez guarding Eric Maynor. 2-point lead for the Grizzlies with under a minute and a half to go in the first quarter. O.J. Mayo in the game and trapping Harden on the outside, and here's the turnover. Vasquez, who was a hero, with Mayo and Conley fouling out, and Arthur has the ball knocked away, and that was Collison on the defensive end, and Harden finishes it. That's what the Thunder did to establish their late lead in game 3.
And they've had the fast break in, the edge rather, in fast break points each game, but it hasn't really been a significant one until the last game.
And a 3 by O.J. Mayo, and Mayo, who hit 4 3-pointers on Monday, including 2 in the first overtime. This is not an outstanding 3-point shooting team by any means, but they got clutch threes, and another turnover, and a foul called against Eric Maynor. 9 turnovers here in the first quarter, and Scott Brooks telling us before the game that that's why they fell behind so early in the last game.
Yep, the turnovers have led to easy opportunities for both teams. Two critical areas, turnovers and then offensive rebounds where the ball goes out behind the three-point line before the defense can recover and get to the shooter.
Here are the turnovers and the points off of the turnovers. Half a minute remaining in the first quarter and 13 on the shot clock. Battier for three, and it doesn't go, and now playing for the last shot of the first quarter are the Thunder, who have yet to lead and trail by three. Durant and Battier going at each other physically out at the top, and here is Harden. Final seconds, and Harden hits a three to tie the game. 1 second to go. And that would have counted had it gone. And that is the end of the first quarter here. And once again, Harden, the X factor for the Czars. 7 points in 5 minutes.
Is one of those X factor guys we talked about. His ability to make the three-point shot so important for the Thunder.
All tied up. Marty Snyder with Lionel Hollins. You got 9 turnovers there. I'm sure you're happy with the defense, but how did they get back into it?
Well, they've made some shots. I mean, we've turned the ball over and we've missed a lot of shots, and they've come back down and scored. So our defense is good. We got off to a good start, so I'm happy.
You made the switch. Allen on Westbrook. Has that worked out like you wanted it to?
Well, it's not just the switch. It's the way we've clogged the lane. We've gotten a charge on Westbrook. We've gotten him to turn the ball over. We just want everybody to see numbers when they come to the paint.
Thanks, Lionel. Nick?
All right, Marty, thank you very much. Lionel Hollins' team holding Durant and Westbrook to a total of 8 points and 3 for 7 shooting. Meanwhile, Randolph and Gasol, 2 points in the early going on 1 for 4. And the 9 turnovers are a high for a first quarter by any team in this year's playoffs.
Remember Gasol and Randolph. You see the dunk to finish there at the end by Mayo. Those two combined for 60 points in the last game, the 2 big men for the Grizzlies.
O.J. Mayo giving the Grizzlies the lead. By the way, they reviewed to see whether Harden had the 3, and he did. And there is Maynard, and the tip-in by Nazr Mohammed. What a game for Nazr Mohammed after scoring a total of 2 points in the first 3 games. Had 7, along with 4 rebounds and 2 block shots.
Yeah, he was in the right place at the right time. He had his hands ready. He caught the drop-off passes and finished quickly with dunks.
Here is Randolph giving the shot from the top, and chasing it down is Battier.
Offensive rebounds again. Same thing Scotty Brooks told us before the game.
And Darrell Arthur is fouled. And the Grizzlies are out-rebounding the Thunder on the offensive glass by an average of nearly 6 a game.
Very interesting stat going back to last game. According to the Elias Sports Bureau, it's only the 5th time in the last 48 seasons that a team has scored that number of points, 133, had only 16 assists. The last time it happened was when Chicago played Boston. Michael Jordan was playing. Jordan scored 63 of the 131 points in that game for Chicago, and the Bulls had only 15 assists in that game. It's a long time, 48 seasons.
Well, Michael Jordan, I remember in that game, came down the court and didn't need anyone to set him up, right?
They couldn't decide who was going to guard him for the Celtics. Nobody wanted to take him.
And here's the drive. And it's missed. Harden, by the way, had committed that last foul. And there, Nazr Mohammed involved on that last play. And it will be inbounded to Maynard. Daquan Cook also into the lineup. He has the ball there, number 14. He hit a couple of clutch back-to-back threes that brought the Thunder back. And here's Collison with the air ball. Good defense on him, however, by Arthur. Grizzlies by 1.
I think Arthur actually may have gotten a piece of that one and blocked it as the thing was being shot.
And here's Arthur. And the Grizzlies missing a lot of good looks early on, leading by 1 and shooting 39%. And here's Vasquez driving in. This rookie from Maryland who appeared in 70 games and started one, sparking them in overtime and a 3-point lead.
And if you remember the last game, Dick, he made that same exact shot when he came into the game, that high floater where he takes off a little bit longer than normal attacking the basket. We see another turnover against the Thunder.
Harden commits the turnover. Here is Vasquez in this game.
Here he is, turns the corner, sees the next defender, and avoids the charge by getting it up high on the glass. 10
turnovers already by the Thunder. Grizzlies lead by 3. And they'll call a foul. Scott Brooks got to be a little frustrated by the early going, and Daquan Cook picking up the personal foul.
And I like the recognition there. Battier was being played by Cook. Battier's bigger, he's stronger, and he can post up. They went right at it immediately and picked up the foul.
Vasquez at the point, gets it back from O.J. Mayo. Down low with 3 on the shot clock, and the hook shot from the baseline by Battier. Battier rolls off.
Dick, you remember last game when the Thunder was struggling, the guy that came in and hit 2 big threes was Cook. That got some offense going for him, and then they rolled in that second quarter down the stretch to get themselves back in the game. Muhammad with another turnaround the low post area.
That's the first time they showed life in that game, Daquan Cook. So a lot of players hitting clutch threes on both sides. And here is Mayo missing the 3, and it's knocked out by Battier, but into the hands of Harden. Grizzlies by 1. Thunder have yet to take the lead. Collison there, plenty of time on the shot clock for Oklahoma City. Now it's down to 6. Collison open, and the Thunder lead for the first time.
Gotta like what Nick Collison does when he comes on the floor. He doesn't try and do too much. He just does what he knows he can do well and stays solid that way. Not worried about putting numbers up.
Randolph. And that drops. And the Grizzlies regain the lead by 1 with 4 minutes gone by in the second quarter. Dick Stockton along with Mike Fratello, Marty Snyder, game 5. Each team has won a game on the other club's home court. But now it's a 2 out of 3 series with the Thunder at home 2 out of 3. And there is another 3 by Daquan Cook. Following up his heroics in the first half of game 4.
And we've seen Randolph the last couple times. Dick, he's frustrated down the low post there. So his last 2 field goal attempts, he has stepped out away from the basket.
And Darrell Arthur hits the shot to tie it up. So the 3 by Cook giving the Thunder the 2-point lead, their biggest of the game, and now we're even once more. Maynard driving against Vasquez, had a good step on him, couldn't convert, and that knocked away by Cook. Here's Cook, lays it in. Daquan Cook with a defensive play on the basket. Arthur, and a good shot by Arthur as he banked it high off the glass. He has 5 now off the bench, as does Mayo.
You see the Grizzlies attacking the defense of the Thunder. They understand what they want to do. They take the double team, then they make the pass to the first open man. He either has a shot or he's willing to make the next pass. We talked about last game, something good happening when Cook came in the game for him. It happened again this time when he wound up knocking out a 3, and then loose balls. Who gets to him first? You wind up with easy points.
Keep closing out. Be ready to help the helper. That's how we play, guys. That's how we play defense.
Guys, defense was fantastic. Keep the energy up on the defensive end. Our shots are going to fall. Too many turnovers.
No questions are what the central theme is here.
Well, both coaches realize that the defense has taken over this game. Neither team is at 30 points yet, and you have about 6 minutes remaining in the second quarter. So if it goes as is, this will be like a low 40-point halftime for both teams.
Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant return to the game. Westbrook sat for 8 minutes, Durant for 5 minutes plus. And here is tie score as we approach 6 minutes remaining in the second. Conley is back in, and now the starters checking back in for both teams here. And here is Mayo hard off the glass. And there's Collison. Collison, want to know where the loose ball is, find Collison.
And if you're wondering why Collison is not guarding Randolph right now when Durant tries the three, and he felt he got hit in the face that time, trying to keep fouls off of Collison right now because I think Scott Brooks realizes he's going to need him in the second half to play Randolph.
Randolph with a good feed, and Battier misses a lay-in. We have seen each team missing easy layups inside the last couple of possessions.
Could this be part of the fatigue factor that comes with playing a 3 overtime game, less than 44 hours ago?
Here is Collison, and they'll call an offensive foul, no basket. And that'll be Westbrook's second foul, too, against Russell Westbrook.
Both of them were offensive fouls, too. So you know that the Grizzlies talked about the fact that he went down the lane so often last game. There are opportunities to pick up offensive fouls, and they're giving up their bodies to put him on the bench with personals.
I think service in the community means a lot to our organization. The fans do so much for us and supporting us. The least we can do is let them know that we're here and, we care for them. Just because, we play in the NBA doesn't mean we should change as people. We have an opportunity to tell them that we care and show them that we care. I think that means a lot. So I want to continue to just, try to get back and try to be the best person I can be.
Meanwhile, Russell Westbrook remains in the game, Czar, with 2 fouls off to a rocky start for him.
And it's a decision there for the head coach, Scott Brooks, whether to leave him on the floor and possibly have him pick up his 3rd personal foul. I might take him out in this situation and save that extra foul for the second half when he might use it. He has to realize every time he penetrates, somebody is stepping up in front of him to try and put a 3rd offensive foul on him.
And Westbrook and Durant are combined 3 for 8 shooting thus far. And Randolph will go to the line. Tomorrow, the Atlanta Hawks host the Chicago Bulls in Game 6 of their series on ESPN. The Bulls lead the series 3-2. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. Eastern. And Randolph misses. He has been brilliant from the line. 16 of 17 in that 3 overtime game 4, and 89% overall in the series. And there you see Ibaka come back in for the Thunder. Darrell Arthur going out of the game, and Marc Gasol returns for Memphis. And Collison going to the bench. Collison with 2 points.
Both coaches trying to figure out what lineups can be productive when they're in there together. And that fatigue factor, along with early performance, turnovers, all of that going into factoring of who they should have out there together.
Westbrook 1 for 3 shooting, and scores right there, so he's 2 for 4, only 1 assist. He turned it over 3 times and a couple of fouls after the 40-point performance, but he's the man that can get you back. And Marc Gasol with the field goal, and it's 31-30. The Grizzlies regain the lead.
There's no way that should happen. You're coming off a made field goal. No one talked or picked up the man in transition.
Harden misses the 3, but here's Ibaka. Follows up. And a seesaw game here with nearly 4.5 to go in the first half. Randolph setting the screen on the outside. And following Conley through is Westbrook. Here's Randolph matched up against Ibaka. 5 on the shot clock, and the fall away. Good defense by Ibaka. Thunder by 1, and Thunder by 4. Westbrook hitting 2 in a row, has 7 points and the 3.
And that's why other people speculating what coaches should do. Coaches know their players better than anybody. Scott Brooks left them on the floor. He's produced 5 quick points.
And Conley couldn't convert, and Randolph couldn't do it. And on the other end, Harden from Westbrook. Timeout.
Russell Westbrook comes down, gets a quick screen, and he had just made the jumper before that, so he felt that maybe he was in the groove. And then you see the drop-off pass. He could have shot it. Instead, he passed it.
A 7-0 run in less than a minute for the Thunder. Thunder with their biggest lead of the game, up by 6. Late here in the second quarter, it's time for the Cinco Stat of the Night presented by Corona. In case you're wondering what happens after you win a triple overtime game or more, there you see the last three have lost after winning. The famous one, of course, is 76 when the Celtics and the Phoenix Suns battled it out. The Celtics ended up winning that next game. And this was the sixth three or more overtime history. And a block there by Ibaka. Had only one in the last game, but leads everyone in the playoffs. Westbrook misses the short runner. Here's Tony Allen back in the game, and it spins in. Tony Allen, who started the game guarding Westbrook to success, now has 6.
Yeah, Westbrook's last shot is one he'd probably like to have back. He was off balance, shot it across his body, fading the other way. Not a good shot.
And not quite a runner, but it was against the grain. And Westbrook again misses the jumper, but he was open. Young, and they're going to go the other way. The offensive foul as Harden takes the charge here. Foul is against Tony Allen.
Well, you play Tony Allen, you see that Harden is above the restricted area when he takes the charge. Excellent call by the official. Allen, you know, likes to take the ball and put it on the floor as opposed to pulling up, shooting the jumper.
The assists nearly even. Thunder have committed 4 more turnovers. Here is Durant hitting. So Durant now 3 for 6 from the field. Westbrook has taken 7 shots. Durant has 6 and 8 points in the game. And again, 6-point lead. Under 2.5 to go. Marc Gasol. Loose ball. Westbrook. And Harden saves it nicely. Finds Durant. 2 in a row for Kevin Durant.
Sometimes it's just the bounce of the ball. Who gets to it first? You wind up creating an easy basket. They had no idea that it was going to wind up being a 3-on-1 break.
Thunder have outscored the Grizzlies by 9 in the last 3 minutes. Who's going to end it? And nearly a turnover with Sam Young on the outside. He still controls with 3 on the shot clock. Crossover dribble. Doesn't have control of it. And here come the Thunder again. But we will have the foul called. 24-second violation was the call.
See, Westbrook almost loses it. Harden saves it and looks across the floor, and Zach Randolph just can't get back there in time to stop the dunk.
So the shot clock violation, but the Thunder get it back with 1:40 to go. They're up by 8. They were down by as many as 6 early on. And there is Westbrook. And Perkins. Second chance is a charm for him. Perkins with his first points of the game and a 10-point lead for the Thunder. First double-digit lead of the game. And Perkins now has picked up his 3rd foul.
And Perkins has a habit of using his arms. A guy who plays against Perkins usually gets a beating during the course of the game. Those arms come out, he winds up catching them up on the top of the head or in the neck area. We saw it last game. Right there, the official caught it and called an offensive foul.
Perkins goes out with 3, replaced by Collison. Want to remind you tomorrow, the Atlanta Hawks host the Chicago Bulls, Game 6 of their series. On ESPN, the Bulls lead the series 3-2. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Conley chasing down another one of those 50-50 balls. It's on the floor. Who gets there first?
Conley. And we're going to have a jump ball as Gasol and Ibaka will jump it up.
Yeah, and I said that last foul. I said offensive foul. It was a defensive foul that was on Perkins before they took him out.
Right now, the Thunder on a 13-2 run with under a minute to go. And coming into the game is Eric Maynor for the Thunder. And he'll be joined by Nazi Muhammad. Ten-point lead for Oklahoma City. Trying to take a 3-2 lead in what has come down to a best of 3 now, with 2 games being played here at the arena. And they're going to jump it again. They'll re-jump.
Ben Salvatore wants to re-jump. I think he felt that the ball was not thrown up high enough, therefore he's going to re-jump it right now.
Gasol has scored only 2 points on 1 for 2 shooting, a far cry from his impressive double-double efforts in Game 4. Thunder trying to stretch their 10-point lead. Waning seconds of this first half. Kevin Durant has it blocked, and it was Young who got a piece of it. And Ibaka. Good feed from Harden. Ibaka with the basket and a 12-point lead. Clock differential of about 7 seconds here. Gasol, and the left-handed hook from the baseline silences the crowd momentarily. Now the last shot of the first half.
After a combined 90 free throws in the last game, right now you've got a combined total of just 6 free throws in the first half.
Durant gets it back, and the reach-in foul against Sam Young. And that is, believe it or not, just the first team foul against the Grizzlies here in the second quarter. And we're going to have a 20-second timeout by the Thunder. Thunder leading by 10 with just under 5 seconds remaining in the first half. Thunder calling the 20-second timeout, and they come out with Daquan Cook, Eric Maynor, James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Nazr Mohammed.
Just under 5 seconds remaining is plenty of time to get a dribble penetration and an extra pass.
And Durant fouled by Allen. And it's a shooting foul.
Yeah, he just uses the fake to get him up in the air, then steps underneath, initiates the contact, and throws it up there, hoping that it might go in for him. Tony Allen a little too anxious to try and go up and challenge that shot.
That's one he'd like to have back. But Durant misses the free throw. He is now 2 for 3 from the line. Cephalosha comes back in for the Thunder for defensive purposes, and Daquan Cook will go out. And a 20-second timeout being called by Memphis. Quite a chess game with timeouts in the final seconds here of just the first half. Ten-point lead, little over 3 seconds to go, and both teams have staged comebacks in this series.
I'm sure Lionel Hollins right now, coming up to 20, is telling the team, okay, here's what we're doing on the make. He's assuming Durant will make it. They have a fast break play that they can run from out of bounds to score in less than 3 seconds.
Grizzlies scored the first 6 points of the game, and then Oklahoma City led by as many as 12. It's 11 right now. Conley misses at the buzzer, so the Thunder close out the second quarter on a 16-4 run with 5 different players scoring in that streak. Our score at the half, Thunder 46, Grizzlies 35, and after this break, we'll send you to our Atlanta studio for the T-Mobile halftime report with Ernie Johnson, Charles Barkley, Kenny the Jet Smith, and Kevin McHale. The Thunder leading the Grizzlies by 11 in this 5th game of the series, and it appears that in this ragged game that there's no question both teams have been affected by the 3 overtime 4-hour game we had in contest number 4, but both coaches stressing defense. What do you see along those lines, Art?
Well, you have to be happy if you're Oklahoma City holding to 35 points on 38% shooting, but even that, there's a little room for improvement because sometimes there's 1 or 2 imperfections along the way. As they're coming down the floor, the last man down the floor is Marc Gasol. Communication up front. You have Perkins, one big man defender, Ibaka, the other big man defender. Perkins has his eyes watching the basketball. In the meantime, Gasol has his eyes on that lane right there, trying to figure out, is anybody going to pick him up? So instead of Ibaka passing off Randolph to Perkins, Ibaka stays with Randolph. Nobody takes Gasol. He's home free for the finish. A breakdown in communication, one of the few defensive mistakes.
And it's time for the T-Mobile game summary. And the Thunder shooting 50%. And there you see the rest. Key bench points 20 for Oklahoma City. They have 20 points and 11 rebounds off of their bench because the Stars have not shined yet in this game.
No, the stars for both teams, the big men up front for Memphis have really struggled in the first half, and although Durant has 11 points, it hasn't been a smooth offensive game for him or Westbrook. Really, the other guys coming in have held their teams in there.
And here's Sam Young missing the first shot, coming out quickly. Westbrook to Durant, and that's the way the Thunder start the second half. Durant now with 13.
Yeah, Lionel Hollins, I'm sure, is very unhappy with that. You give your team, you talk at halftime, you talk about coming out with high energy in this tough building to play in. The first thing that happens, you give up a transition layup.
Randolph and Gasol, a total of 9 points between them on 4 for 11 shooting, and the scoop shot by Conley doesn't go, out of bounds, and it's last touched by the Thunder.
Dick, another player who was short on his layup attempt, and there you see the run out by Durant. Nice pitch ahead pass. That can be very demoralizing to start the second half.
Young defended by Durant. Tony Allen in the lane. And he misses the layup, and a loose ball foul called against the Thunder, and it'll be against Cephalosha.
You see Cephalosha right there, and he winds up trying to block out, okay, Gasol winds up pulling that arm back, holding him. That's where the foul takes place.
How many layups have we seen missed by both teams?
Probably 7 or 8 combined.
13-point lead. Thunder down 6 early, but they have established themselves. Here's Marc Gasol, and it drops. So Gasol, just 3 of 4, now has 6 points. The way the series is going, it seems like you don't want to be the team with the big lead, even in the fourth quarter.
No, neither one of these teams give up. They both find ways of getting themselves back in the game.
Cephalosha double team. Here's Ibaka, stripped away. Fight for the loose ball. And a 24-second shot clock violation. And the Grizzlies will get it back. Let's check in with Marty Snyder.
Talked to Scott Brooks, and he said he was very proud of the comeback, but he said too often we were anxious on offense. We need to stay calm. 11 turnovers are unacceptable. I talked to Johnny Davis, the Memphis assistant. He said we're going to play to our strengths, go inside as often as we can, but we're going to get their ball on the move to them. They were too stagnant inside and pushing our guys off the block stick.
All right, thank you, Marty. Short on the outside shot is Marc Gasol.
Randolph is the kind of guy that when they feed the ball to him in that low post area, he makes things happen. You see Perkins lose control. This is an opportunity for easy points for Memphis.
And traveling called. Traveling called against Young. Turns it over. But we're seeing perimeter shots off the front rim. We're seeing missed layups that are not even close. And who do you think would be most affected, perhaps, by fatigue after the other night?
To me, the one that I see really dragging is Zach Randolph, because he has to work so hard in the post against these big bodies. He played so many minutes last game. He was so productive last game. It's just not quite the same right now.
Ibaka driving around Randolph. Gasol got a hand on it. And now 2 on the shot clock, and they have to hurry with the 3. And the 3 is missed outside. So Durant, who has 13 points, had no time to get it off. Here's Young, and there's a turnover. Young driving, and it looks like the Thunder just took the ball away. 11-point lead, that's what it was at halftime, and we'll have a pushing foul.
Remember, we talked about the 2 stars, Randolph and Gasol, the big men. Well, look at this, okay? The series versus tonight. Just 11 combined points. Look at their field goal percentage. Look, they can be young, Dick, but you still get tired when you play 3 overtimes playing the minutes that these guys have played. Don't care how young they are.
4-hour game in all. So Allen got that last foul, his third. And Westbrook looked like he was going to put up the shot. Ibaka puts up a shot. And the game is still ragged as we start the third quarter. Nothing's changed. Here is O.J. Mayo. Too long with the 3. Durant getting the rebound. So each team has scored just 2 points here in the second half. With 3.5 gone by, and Cephalosha called for the offensive foul, his second.
Mike Connolly giving up his body, sticks his nose in there, gives up his body to take the contact and pick up the offensive foul.
4 offensive fouls on the Thunder, plus double-digit turnovers. Mayo feeding Gasol. Well done. So you showed Marc Gasol getting the easy layup, and the highlight at the end of the half, we see it here.
Ibaka was paying so much attention to Randolph, trying to keep him from getting offensive rebound position. He never saw the ball go right behind him for a layup.
So the lead is 9 as the Grizzlies get it to single digits. And the foul as Perkins works his way in. And Perkins' former team, the Boston Celtics, eliminated by the Miami Heat earlier tonight. And Randolph picking up his second foul. Score Grizzlies and Thunder playoffs geared now at NBAstore.com and get free shipping on any order over $85. NBAstore.com, one store, every team. And Perkins misses the first free throw. So Perkins, big acquisition that helped him with presence down low. Marty has more.
And Dick, Kendrick and I were talking this morning. He said he's struggling with the health of his knee, and you may think it's his right knee, the one that he hurt in the finals last year, but actually he told me it's his left knee, and he told me it's only 65% right now, but he said it doesn't matter. If I'm on the floor, I'm going to get everything I got, Dick.
And thank you, and Serge Ibaka, who had a sprained left ankle in Game 2, aggravated in Game 3. Scott Brooks told us everyone is fine. Here's a steal by Westbrook. Tomahawk slam by Russell Westbrook, who now has 9. And once again, the Thunder have matched their biggest lead of the game, and a timeout called by Lionel Hollins.
You can be a factor in the game without scoring. Defensively, active hands, you get deflections. Deflections lead to steals. Steals lead to easy scores. Russell Westbrook with the finish.
And welcome back to Oklahoma City, where the Thunder leading by 12, matching their biggest lead of the game. And it seems, Czar, that the points in the paint comparison has really been the barometer for each game.
Well, how do you get points in the paint? They come from post-ups, they come from fast break opportunities, they come from offensive rebounds or dribble drives. And you just mentioned how many layups have been missed. Those are potential points in the paint. So tonight, a little change around with the OKC Thunder picking him up early.
And Allen battling for the loose ball, did not hit the rim, and he comes in and the shot is blocked. Another blocked shot. 12-point game, and the Grizzlies shooting 36%. That was Durant, and here's Ibaka, who normally has the leadership in blocked shots, hits the field goal to give the Thunder their biggest lead, 53-39. The Grizzlies just not playing with any zip in this game. Conley goes in and he hits an inside shot. It's been rare for Memphis tonight.
Very smooth that time. Conley's very comfortable switching the ball over to his right hand, and we saw that floater with the right hand finished off.
3 for 12 shooting for Conley.
That follows up a 2 for 12 in the last game.
Durant feed to Westbrook, and the foul Scott Brooks with a semi-smile on his face, likes the ball movement there by the Thunder.
It's a beautiful pass by Durant. He sees the back door cut that time. Westbrook goes up to finish it with the dunk, and that's where the foul takes place.
That's the third foul against Randolph. Tony Allen will go to the bench, and Mayo is in. Tomorrow, the Atlanta Hawks host the Chicago Bulls, Game 6 of their series on ESPN. The Bulls lead the series 3-2. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Atlanta's putting up quite a fight in that series. Again, even though Chicago wound up winning the last game and taking the lead in the series, Atlanta was there with them for 3/4 of that game.
Mike, whoever thought that the winner of the Heat-Celtics series would have the chance to rest instead of the winner of the Chicago-Atlanta series, which Chicago was the heavy favorite.
So can Dallas take advantage of their opportunities to rest, and can Miami take advantage of his? It remains to be seen as Gasol hits a little turnaround jump hook.
Gasol, the first Grizzly to get into double figures, has 10, but the lead is 12 here in 6 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Here is Durant passing up the baseline shot. Was Perkins. Conley feeding Gasol, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2. Marc Gasol, such a key figure in that last game, and really emerging in these playoffs. He had 21 rebounds to go along with his 26 points. So for the second straight game, the Grizzlies had a player who had a 20-20. It was Randolph the game before.
And after Perkins tried his offensive move and he thought he got fouled, he falls to the ground, and by laying there and looking at the official, he never got back up in time, and Gasol took advantage of it by running the floor hard.
Ibaka with his third foul. Both teams shooting over 80% from the line coming into this game, and right now the Grizzlies are 2 for 5. One free throw by Gasol, and we're going to have a foul called. Monty McCutcheon calling the loose ball foul on Zach Randolph. That'll be 4 on Randolph on this play.
Well, there you see underneath the struggle right there. And that's a tough one to decide who was the perpetrator of the foul, first foul.
Randolph to the bench with 4 personals, has 5 points on 2 for 8 shooting, 4 rebounds. It just hasn't been there for Zach, who's been such a key figure for the Grizzlies in their win over San Antonio in round 1. Here is Westbrook off the glass. Ibaka with the offensive rebound, but they'll call the Memphis foul. And it'll be on Darrell Arthur. 2 on Arthur.
I think you can see the physicalness of this game starting to pick up now. You know, both teams a little weary to start the game out. Neither team played particularly well, although defensively, Oklahoma City held Memphis to an outstanding total in the first half. However, now that they're in the second half and you see them banging bodies for a half, they're starting to get back into it a little bit more.
There you see Serge Ibaka leading everybody in block shots in the playoffs. And you see how impressive that is compared to the likes of Mutombo, Olajuwon, Duncan preceding him. 2 blocks in tonight's game, had 1, but it was a key one in game 4. Two free throws. 13-point lead for the Thunder. 5.5 to play in the third. Conley gets free, but misses the shot. Good save by Darrell Arthur and the new clock. Conley and foul driving the baseline. And that will be the 13th foul against the Thunder. Grizzlies already over the limit. Durant with his first foul picking up that last one. Ibaka defending Gasol. The turnaround. And Marc Gasol now with 13 points. He's the leading scorer, and he's already had 9 already in this quarter. We still have 5 minutes to play.
And you see Lionel Hollins took Randolph out of the game because of the foul situation. They're going through Gasol right now. He will pass the ball, a very willing passer. He also has to assert himself. And there you see the long arms of Durant at the rim. One guy who saw him, his partner, Westbrook, laid it up there for him.
15 for Durant. 13-point lead, Battier with Conley, Arthur, Gasol, and Mayo. And here's the bounce pass to Arthur. Off the rim, high in the air, and here come the Thunder again. Durant has 15, Westbrook has 11. So the 1-2 punch in the top scoring tandem in the playoffs starting to get heated up here. No foul called, and Perkins hits the jumper. Good no call right there. Biggest lead of the game. 15 points. Timeout. 4:01 to go in the third.
Watch Shane Battier trying to be very physical with Durant, not let him go where he wants to go. Durant changes direction. The ball is waiting for him at the top of the rim, and he finishes.
It's amazing. We have 4:01 to go in the third quarter, Czar, and 46 points scored by Memphis. And with the exception of one team in one game, everyone has been over 100 in every game so far in this playoff.
Well, sometimes it catches up to you, and as you've mentioned during the course of this game, more than just one time, I think it's much easier to win that triple overtime game and go home and play in front of your crowd than it is to muster the energy up that Memphis has had to do tonight to go back on the road, fly into the city. You lose a heartbreaking 3 overtime game, and then you have to overcome the home crowd, a great building, great atmosphere. Much easier to be the home team in that situation.
Right now, that sums up what we're seeing. And Conley is bumped by Westbrook. The Grizzlies have just 15 points in the last 13 minutes after taking the 1-point lead. So you see what kind of a drought it has been, and as you pointed out at halftime, not just because of the Thunder's defense.
No, they're shooting 37% from the floor right now, and they've missed their layup opportunities, and they aren't getting the free points at the foul line the way they had in the previous game.
And Conley with a runner, again short. There's the shooting story. And a wide gap. That won't appear on Westbrook's personal highlight film, I can guarantee you that. 4 on the shot clock. Durant over Battier. Trying to tip it in is Ibaka. Right now, the Grizzlies need a spark somewhere, some way to get back in this game. O.J. Mayo for 3. And Gasol taps it out of bounds.
You know, very often when you're down like this, as happened the other night, Cook came in for Oklahoma City, hit the 2 big threes. Problem with the Grizzlies, they're last in the NBA in three-pointers made and taken during the course of the season.
1 for 7 in this game.
Back in Oklahoma City, the Thunder up 15. Everyone sees Kendrick Perkins as this rough and intense guy, but that wasn't always the case. Here's Kendrick on how he spent his teenage years at church.
As a 10-year-old, you'd be like, oh, I got to go to church, not really understanding. But you know how youngsters think sometimes, like, oh, church, man, I don't want to go to church. So I started getting involved in activities. So I ended up becoming an altar boy and ended up loving it. And you know, I just went on here and stuck with it through high school and ended up probably being the world's tallest altar boy at the time.
Now the altar boy robe had to be made individually for him at 6'8". I would say he's the tallest altar boy maybe ever. The biggest problem was hitting the cross on the ceiling as he came into the room, guys.
All right, Marty, and of course we know at times Kendrick Perkins has been anything but an altar boy.
Oh, but that look that he gave you was kind of telling you, like, you better ante up when that basket comes around the church today.
Shane Battier.
Dick, it's got to be a big contribution when he's staring at you like that.
I would think. Some parishioners are staring at him. So Durant on the line, shooting 2, as the Grizzlies have been over the limit for quite some time. And Durant now with 16 points, 6 for 12 shooting, 4 for 5 from the line. And 26 points, or make it 27 between the two. Collison with the offensive rebound, and I mean Durant and Westbrook. Ibaka misses the layup. Here's Collison, and he converts and gets the foul. You don't often see his contributions in the box score, but Nick Collison has been outstanding throughout all of the playoffs.
A little bit of their own medicine back at them. Grizzlies have pounded night in and night out. The Thunder on the offensive boards coming up with second and third shot opportunities. Well, there you saw it right there. The Thunder getting their own second and third chances.
And the Thunder are a +5 on the offensive glass as Zach Randolph with 4 fouls comes back in the game, replacing Gasol, who goes out with 13 points. Coming into this game, it was the Grizzlies by an average of 6 a game controlling the offensive board, so a big reversal here. 3-point play by Nick Collison. 19-point lead. 2.5 to play in the third.
You see Westbrook working the ball out there defensively.
Vasquez in the game. Here's Darrell Arthur fighting his way in, foul. Arthur with a spin move. And Darrell Arthur in his 3rd year out of Kansas, and of course you saw Collison also playing his college ball at Kansas. Collison picking up his 2nd. Well, it's time for this series' upcoming schedule, brought to you by Burger King. Friday at 9 p.m., Steam will go back to Memphis for Game 6 on ESPN, and Game 7 Sunday, if necessary, 3:30 Eastern. Memphis right back here, facing the Thunder on ABC.
Yeah, that Game 6 sold out in 5 minutes when the tickets went on sale in Memphis.
Since you coached there for several years, if I wanted tickets, I would have gone right to you.
I don't know if I could have helped you where those tickets went, but one thing, those people in Memphis are so excited about their team.
Ibaka foul going in. By the way, both free throws were made by Arthur at the other end. And now Serge Ibaka will go to the line as Arthur picking up his 3rd foul. Zach Randolph in the game with 4 personal fouls, and a good move by Lionel Collins. He can't play it close to the vest with his Stars with foul trouble being down by this much. Eric Maynard checking in.
You know, the atmosphere back in Memphis for the last game. First, it was just a game you'll always remember, 3 overtime games. So many big shots, so many decisions to be made by the coaches. But the crowd was so wonderful. They were so into it. And there were so many people that I saw that I recognized from the days that I was coaching. And you wish you could get to say hello to all of them, but it just doesn't work out that way. But boy, are they happy and pleased with what this team did this season and thus far in the playoffs.
And what a great experience it was as Ibaka misses that free throw, 1 out of 2. This is the number 8 seed, knocking off the number 1 San Antonio Spurs, now trying to beat the number 4 Thunder as Zach Randolph gets only his 3rd field goal of the game. The lead is 16 by the Thunder, under 2 minutes to play, 3rd quarter. Battier on Durant. Durant will fire up a 3. His first 3 of the game.
Just got enough room for Durant to get a look. That was the 2nd man coming over and screening Battier from behind.
Arthur with the lay-in, coming right back. But the lead now 17 points. It was an 11-point advantage for Oklahoma City at the half, so they've extended it here in the 3rd. Trying to take the 3-2 lead. They have never led in this series. Collison. Ibaka fighting Arthur for the loose ball. Last touch by Ibaka. And he gets teed up. Ibaka with a technical foul.
Let's see who the ball goes out of bounds off of. It clearly looks like it's out of bounds off of Arthur. I just can't agree with that technical. I'm sorry. I cannot agree with that technical. First of all, you got the call wrong. Okay. Secondly, You're punishing a guy who showed a little bit of emotion, and I understand the fact that they can't show up the officials and disrespect the game. Come on, this is the playoffs, okay? The guy just said no. That's all he said, no, and he winds up getting a technical. And in fact, you missed the call, to be honest. How bad is that? Does that warrant a technical?
No,
not to me.
Zach Randolph the fourth. Connolly has it knocked away. Maynard might have gotten a hand on that one. Here's a 2-on-0. Cook. Timeout called. It's 85-61. With just under 6 to go in the game.
Unselfish. Maynard rewarding the guy that started it off. Cook with the layup.
Back here in Oklahoma City, the Thunder looking to take the series lead for the first time as the Grizzlies won Game 1 and Game 3. And Gasol is fouled by Nazr Mohammed. And series, of course, going at least 6 games. And Marc Gasol going to the free throw line. Well, you talked about the X factors coming into this game, Czar, and you cited first O.J. Mayo, who has really not been a factor for Memphis. James Harden, who has been with 9 points on 4 for 7 shooting and 5 assists.
Yeah, and you probably could throw 1 or 2 other people in if you want to talk about Collison, as you did early in the game, the contributions that he makes on the floor. And then Battier, last game, was superb in defending Durant. Tonight, Battier struggled 0 for 3 from the floor, did not get a free throw attempt, playing only 15 minutes tonight. And obviously, Lionel Hollins sees that. He knows, because he's with them every day, he can see who has the energy on certain nights and which guys don't have it.
22-point lead, 5:40 to go in the fourth. Here is Harden. Collison trying to keep it alive, but Gasol getting the rebound. 5.5 minutes remaining. Here's Mayo. O.J. Mayo doesn't fall. Thunder out rebounding the Grizzlies by 19, and Daquan Cook hitting another 3. He has 3 in this game, and we know about the 2 clutch threes in the second quarter in Game 4 at Memphis. Matching the biggest lead of the game of 25 points. They give the shot to Gasol. He'll take it. And Harden the rebound. And this is a game in which Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook getting a lot of rest. As the Thunder will go to Memphis for Game 6. Here is Mohammed. Nazr Mohammed. And they widen the gap. Seems like they do it in each minute. And look at the bench, 44-18.
See him again going into Gasol in the low post area. Now the officials blowing the whistle down the low post area. Gasol trying to make his move, and
Lionel Hollins did not say anything for the first few seconds of the last timeout.
You know what happens as a coach? Sometimes you sit there, and saying nothing is better than saying something you're going to feel sorry for later on, because you're so angry right now with the performance tonight. He feels that they did not come out and give the same effort that they had been getting, but he also knows about the fatigue factor. So the best thing he can do right now is get this team to understand, you know what, we didn't have it tonight. We just didn't have it in their building. We gave everything we could. Last game, we fell short. You know what we do? We have to go home in Game 6 and win Game 6 back in our building, and then we have a Game 7, which is a 1-game series.
So they just have to gather themselves. Okay, didn't have it in this game. First time that one of the teams didn't have it in any of the games we've seen in the series.
Exactly, because it's been so competitive. There have been late runs to get themselves, both teams, back in these games. But tonight, for whatever the reasons are, Grizzlies did not have it. And the coach understands that, and how he handles them back in the locker room will be the most important thing for getting this team's heads back in it and the concentration they need for the next game.
And of course, the Thunder emptying their bench, and the Grizzlies as well. Royale Ivy, who has not played in postseason. Here is the steal by Vasquez, and Nate Robinson seeing his first action, committing the foul. So Nate Robinson in the game in his 6th year from Washington, traded twice in 14 months. And seeing his first action not only in this series but in the playoffs. He's traded twice in a little over a year, first to Boston, then to the Thunder, and Vasquez making the first free throw. And Royale Ivy in his 7th year from Texas played in only 25 games this year.
Remember before the last game, Nate Robinson was out playing a little 3-on-3 with his teammates. You know, pre-game about an hour and a half ahead of time, wound up colliding with an elbow, inadvertent elbow, and getting a couple stitches before game time.
Some of these reserves not seeing playoff action were really going at it fast and furious before the teams came out to practice. Here's Ivy. 3.5 to play. Nate Robinson. And you know the crowd would have exploded had that one gone, as Leon Poe, former Celtic, checking into the game, and Ish Smith, who saw brief action toward the end of the first half the other night. Haddadi losing the ball. And Nate Robinson.
You said it. You said it. They love it. Crowd's loving it.
He is not bashful, to say the least. Haddadi missing, and the foul as Leon Poe going up. This Oklahoma City Thunder team taking the Lakers to 6 games last year, now trying to go a little farther this time around as Robinson hits the 3. Timeout. Durant and Kendrick Perkins, and so far in this series you haven't had a chance where you could really, you know, relax, exhale, let your hair down late in the 4th quarter. It hasn't been that kind of a game. The NBA playoffs continue on TNT Sunday at 8 Eastern. It's Game 7 of the Hawks-Bulls series, or Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals between the Miami Heat and the Chicago Bulls. Coverage will begin on TNT at 7:30 p.m. Eastern with tip-off presented by Autotrader.com. Any thoughts on Game 6 in Atlanta coming up with those teams?
Atlanta has fought them much harder, I think most people would have thought, particularly the way Atlanta, you know, ended its regular season and the surprising first-round victory for them right now. And I think Atlanta has enough confidence. If they get a big game out of Josh Smith, and they feel they can beat him in the next game back home and even it up again.
Vasquez gets the rebound on Cook's miss. The Dallas Mavericks, sweeping the Lakers, will play the winner of this series, which will go at least 6 games. But that Eastern Conference Final, which you'll see exclusively on TNT, with the Heat and the Bulls, as Haddadi on the feed from Vasquez gets the lay-in. 93-71. Derrick Rose. If the Bulls beat the Hawks, here's Nate Robinson with under 2 minutes to go, and the rebound taken down by Sam Young. And the big 3 of the Miami Heat eliminating Boston tonight in 6 games. So LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh. There you see Russell Westbrook. Not the same intensity in this one as we had in game number 4. Here are the brackets in the NBA, with the Mavericks and the Heat already moving on to the conference finals, and the Bulls leading 3 games to 2, and the Thunder will also have a 3 games to 2 lead. A 3. Royale Ivy, who played his college ball at Texas. 1:15 to go, and Poe is fouled by Cook.
They're going back to that Miami-Boston game. Just a courageous effort by the Celtics. Rondo was injured in the game. Jermaine O'Neal was laying on his back trying to get stretched out. They were up 7 points with a couple minutes remaining in the game, and then suddenly a 10-point turnaround in that game by Miami to pull it out down the stretch.
Tomorrow on TBS, set the DVR. Conan's got basketball legend Magic Johnson, and you don't want to miss it. Conan, all new tomorrow at 11, 10 Central, only on TBS.
This guy on the foul line, Leon Poe, is a story in itself. The fact that he was part of that Celtic championship team and then underwent either a second or third tear in his ligament in his knee. Cleveland signed him as an unrestricted free agent. He went there, basically rehabbed the entire season just to try and get back on the floor once again, and he winds up enduring another injury.
So it's great to see him out on the floor.
It is, yep.
As we wind down to a minute to go. And here is Maynard beating Nazr Mohammed, and it's blocked by Haddadi. Well, after one of the most thrilling overtime games, playoff games, ever in the NBA, the triple overtime in Game 4, this game compared to that is a letdown. But don't tell that to the Oklahoma City Thunder, as they will take a 3-2 lead, their first lead in this series. And the Thunder led by double figures the last 20 minutes of the game. Russell Westbrook leading the cheers as Cook with his fourth three-point basket of the game. 99-72. So this time it was the rest of the team. Usually it's for Durant and Westbrook to lead the way. Last game, 75% of the team's total. Tonight, the bench.
You don't want to do anything slowly down the stretch here, okay? You want to play this game out. You don't want to get anybody hurt. Just be smart, because the differential is so great that don't do anything that's out of character. Hopefully they'll just hold on to the ball right now, end it this way.
Our thanks to our crew, led by producer Tom Heitz, director Howie Singer, Marty Aronoff, our statistician. And the Thunder their way to a win over the Memphis Grizzlies and lead 3-2. Having taken the last two games. Durant with 19, Westbrook with 11. But it was Cook with 18 points, Nazr Mohammed with 10, and Collison with a playoff career high 10 rebounds. Here's Marty Snyder.
Well, Dick, as you mentioned, 19 and 7 for Kevin Durant tonight, also 50% from the field. Was that the best defensive performance by your team in the playoffs so far?
Yeah, thank the Lord for this opportunity. But yeah, we played great defense. Everybody was in tune, locked in. We got rebounds. We didn't get those guys 21 offensive rebounds, so it was a group effort.
You got to sit on the bench for the whole fourth quarter. You're laughing over there for most of it, but how much was fatigue a factor in this game tonight?
It wasn't at all. We didn't let that beat us. We came out with a lot of energy. We were a little too hyped to start the game, but we kind of cooled off and got us going. And Russ was big, Daquan was big, everybody played well.
But the bench was so big tonight. How key is that for you guys going forward?
We're going to need them. We're going to need them, and they know that, so they came out aggressive tonight.
All right, Kevin, thanks so much. Dick?
All right, Marty, so finally a team wins 2 games in a row in this series. Game 6 coming up in Memphis. Final score again, the Thunder 99, the Grizzlies 72. Coming up next, it's Inside the NBA. So for Mike Fratello, Marty Snyder, and the rest of the crew, I'm Dick Stockton saying good night from Oklahoma City. You've been watching the NBA on TNT, the exclusive home of the 2011 NBA Eastern Conference Finals. And right now, let's send it to Ernie Johnson in Atlanta.